Okay, so the other thing I kind of want to talk about, which I didn't really talk to you guys beforehand about, it's a surprise, is the new tradition
surprise, motherfucker!
With video game movies. Like the new recent trend, well, especially with the World of Warcraft movie coming out soon.
Oh, God.
Then again, I wouldn't say recent trend, because there has been a fair amount of video game movies in the past. Let's not talk about the Doom movie. I think it's kind of interesting.
Did you ever see what happened to the Mario Brothers movie?
Let's definitely not talk about that one.
No, we're gonna talk about it right now.
No, please no.
Don't worry. We have more terrible examples if you don't want to talk about it.
Basically, the team who worked on it didn't know anything about Mario Brothers, so it went from actually being about Mario Brothers to being like this grungy.
Yeah, just stop thinking about it, it'll hurt. Actually, I wouldn't be surprised if the World of Warcraft movie would be kind of good. Because, like, the world
it will be.
The world has a lot of really good lore.
That's the thing, though. How do you condense that into, like, what's the Warcraft movie exactly going to be about?
Well, that's the thing, is they have to take a really, really good hand at it. They have to play it really well. And, one of my, like, just kind of not getting on topic of video games, but one of my favorite authors of all time is Neil Gaiman, and the reason why I like him so much is because he does a good job at telling you but not telling you. So, like, he won't outright tell you that this character is a vampire, but he'll slowly start hinting at the fact that this character is a vampire. He does he has a soft touch about it and does it really, really, really well. So if the people that are developing the Blizzard movie do that kind of style in it, it could be fantastic, because you let people speculate, you let people guess, and you let people hypothesize about, like, what's going on. Like, you add a little bit extra, like, different, like, lore than in, like, I think there are actually these World of Warcraft books.
There are.
You added, like, a little bit more, like, content, like something a little bit different, not enough to piss the fans off, but just enough to keep them, like, not really sure what's happening, kind of like what they're doing with Game of Thrones. You can actually have a pretty good movie. But the Hollywood likes to sledgehammer stuff like this, so we'll see how it turns out.
Then again, there's also still the entire influx of terrible video game-based movies. For instance, produced by the guy, what was he called? Uwe Boll. Basically, there was a copyright loop which made it pretty easy to acquire rights to video game stories, and then he turned all those into simple cash cow movies. I'm not saying that the new...
Oh, right.
You know him?
Yeah, I remember.
I'm not saying that the new World of Warcraft movie might turn into that. I'm just saying a lot of the examples we currently have are terrible.
Yeah.
Well, let's hope that this one is going to change it up.
Yeah, he did the Mortal Kombat movies, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, I remember that whole... Like, I remember doing some reading up on, like why they happened, and the stupidness of why they happened and stuff like that. So.
Sorry, just regurgitating.
But the one... Oh, well, I guess one of the questions I can ask is, what video games do you want to see made in movies?
None of them. Video games need to stay video games. I'm telling you, they very rarely make the transition.
The fact what's making video games so special with their stories is that you actually interact with the story, you connect with it more deeply than you do in a movie. Sure, there are certainly universes I could think of in which I'd like to see a spin-off, because I'm just so interested in the universe's general overall story that it might be fine to watch that. But still, the core aspect of what makes a game that good and involving is that you're actually getting involved in the game by playing it yourself.
Yeah.
Examples of other games that didn't make a good transition: Hitman, Deus Ex, Mario Brothers.
Well, I was going to say the newest Hitman movie is actually pretty okay.
I haven't seen the newest one.
It stopped trying to be like, hey, look, it's like the video game, and started being like, hey, it's existing in the same universe as the video game, which is how you do it properly.
Yeah, you don't try and make it like the game, but try and make a story that takes place in that universe.
Like, I think a really good series to do that with, in my opinion, and I know this might piss a bunch of people off, though, is the Dark Souls. And the only reason why I say that is because you don't have to follow the storyline of the main character.
I don't even know the storyline of any of the Dark Souls games.
The Dark Souls games are actually, like, crazy. The storyline is actually, like, insane. Like, and it's hard to find, like, 'cause it's not actually, like, a storyline in the game. Like, it's not like a linear path. Like, it's just, you find stories about the universe that the game
The only
existed in.
gameplay I've seen of Dark Souls is a guy going around ganking people with a ladle while he's completely naked.
That's all you need. But like the world in Dark Souls is crazy. Like the amount of lore packed into a game is insane. And it's so good. Like it's really good. It's all about like the dying of like an age and certain.
You mean
like,
dying
essentially
a lot?
Yeah, certain like gods and demigods not wanting to give up their power and like doing everything they can to sustain, like essentially like or doing everything they can to prolong the inevitable and stuff. Like it'd be really cool to see content from it, like more content, more lore, more history,
More merchandise, more money.
well, yeah. And that's what would keep the investors involved in it. But as long as they, like, as long as you don't have like crazy heavy-handed movie producing, like as long as it's again done with the right touch, I think it could be really good. The other one too is the Uncharted series. Like you already have stuff like Lara Croft, who like the movies weren't bad. They weren't fantastic, but they weren't bad either. And I think Nathan Drake can make a pretty easy crossover to the movie dimension. And again, like you don't have to go with one of the previously existing Uncharted games.
I just thought of something.
What?
Just Cause. Can you imagine making a movie after the new one where the guy
about just launching people
about just launching
shots.
people around and putting rockets on people's cars and that? Let's face it. I think there's only like a very small percentage of people who actually played that game for the actual story.
Yeah,
Because
absolutely.
it seems to have been built more like a sandbox of like, we know you like blowing shit up. Go ahead. There's no problem with killing civilians.
Yep.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Attach these cows to a windmill.
That sentiment is actually the reason why probably Saints Row exists. That the problem is,
yeah.
I got so involved in the story while playing that random SNES that I actually was later on more playing it for the actual story than that weird ganky stuff.
Yeah, they did a good job. They did a good job with it. Again, game series I haven't played, but watched a lot of Let's Plays of. From what I've like watched, it looks like the story is actually like it started out being like ha 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 whatever, and then it actually was just like, hey man, like this is cool stuff. Like pay attention to the story.
And then it got really crazy.
Yeah, that too, but
I'm pretty sure it's sustained crazy.
I don't know how they can get any more crazy, and I don't think they plan on, honestly.
I don't think they can top the last one, because the last one you're like in like
They
the Matrix
blew
and a
up
superhero.
the Earth. Spoilers.
Oh no!
If you
I was gonna play it, you ruined it for me.
Yeah, if you haven't seen or played Saints Row 4 by now, then, well, too bad.
hold on, it's not that much of a spoiler. I think they kind of do that at the start, did they?
They do it pretty early in the... Oh, spoilers, you kill Zinyak.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons why it actually sells the story so well, because the villain who virtually is the entire story because you're busy swinging your dildo around.
You know that you're gonna kill him at some point.
Yeah. But he's the one who actually sold me to the story, and that's only because he has such a wonderful voice. Oh man, you should listen to it.
I love listening to the classical channel in that game and then hearing his little quips come on.
Yeah. I love the part where he sings with you. That's a spoiler too.
Spoiler everything. But yeah, going back to like video games that make good movies and the Uncharted series, like I think like it doesn't even have to be based off of one of the games already. Like it could just be like another one of Nathan Drake's adventures, because he has a lot of them. It's just, you know, an extra content for stuff.
The problem is, though, is that obviously directors and film writers aren't exactly the same as the people who created the video game, and it's the problem arises when you have people they're trying too hard to make it their own, or they're trying too hard to make it like the game.
Yep, and that's when you bring in writers from the game to essentially be consultants. But
but then the
it doesn't
director
turn
gets
out
the
as
last
best.
call. And if you have one of those asshole directors who's like, no, I know exactly what I'm doing, and they end up ruining the whole thing.
Yep, and like, because I come from a bit of a theater family, and one of the biggest things that I was always taught was, I was always told about live theater is the play polisher makes the play. And in translating that into movie terms, it's the editor makes the movie. Like, at the end of the day, a director needs to know when to step back and let someone else take over the movie. Yeah, I've seen a lot, like especially recently in Hollywood, that's not happening. And you can always tell what movies have a good editor when you're not sitting there going, I wonder what time it is. I wonder what I'm gonna have for dinner after this. And that's all comes down to the editing.
You see, the problem here is I was just thinking the exact same thing. What time is it? What am I going to have for
Sorry
dinner
to
after
interrupt
this?
this quite thoughtful discussion,
Yeah.
but I just realized my mic is picking up me passing gas. I'm
Perfect.
so sorry!
You only have to excuse to Boris, I hope.
He's just gonna be listening to this, and all of a sudden he's gonna hear, Bert.
Well, if you didn't mention that just now, you could have blamed it on something like your cat.
Or your chair was creaking.
Yeah.
Yeah, my chair was creaking when you obviously hear. Anyway, back to your
Definitely a
nice,
chair.
thoughtful conversation.
I can't even remember what else.
God damn it! Curse you, bowels!
Though I'm not sure if another adventure of that Uncharted character would work. I'm sorry, I haven't played the game yet. Because the movie is in danger of portraying the character entirely wrong than compared to how the fans see him.
I guess, yeah, but what's nice about the Nathan Drake character is he's not a silent protagonist. Like, he's got a personality, he's his own person, and you don't really have decisions. It's more so you're playing a movie.
Wait,
already.
here, Adam Jensen from Deus Ex. I didn't ask for this. There you go. That's his personality. You know, surprisingly, I played through Deus Ex Human Revolution. I only heard him say that like maybe once or twice, and yet it's become like this big thing. Is I didn't ask for this.